This is my latest book review, and today I'll be reviewing The Stardragons by Bob Eggleton and John Grant. My understanding is that they both had input into the story, and one of them was the artist. I forget which is which. I'll probably find out in the course of this review as I open up the book. But this is my first review since March, and I do apologize for that. 2020 was a crazy year for all of us, and I was doing a lot of work outside, so I just didn't have a lot of time to read books, and I wasn't really able to focus very well either, with everything going on. But I'm glad that I got around to reviewing this book, and the Stardragons is an interesting book in that I had to decide whether it was um, a science fiction book masquerading as an art book, or an art book masquerading as a science fiction book. And the truth is, I settled on the latter. It is a art book masquerading as a science fiction book. And the reason I say that is that if you ever read this book, the art is definitely the best thing about it. That's not to say that the writing is bad, but it's pretty dry. There's a lot of talk of astrophysics and astronomy, and a lot of quantum physics and time space phenomena and things like that. And I find that stuff interesting, but even for someone like me who finds that stuff interesting and I have a certain backing in that knowledge, it's still kind of a dry read. It kind of reads like a technical pamphlet to a certain extent, more than a novel. For one thing, there are no characters in this story. There's one narrator, and he's narrating the history. It's basically like a history book, a very technical history book about these creatures called the Stardragons. And I guess that this book is the sequel to a book called Dragonhenge, which is also an art book. And the Dragonhenge book takes place before humanity existed, and the Stardragons takes place billions of years in the future, after humanity and most other alien civilizations have gone extinct. And all that's left are the Stardragons, which are spacefaring creatures. And I have to say, it's a very interesting concept. It's a very novel concept, what the Stardragons are. And what makes it kind of impressive, this book kind of impressive, is that the authors managed to take a fairly simple idea and stretch it out into an entire story, which is something that a lot of aspiring novelists really long to be able to do. Because I can think of myself, and even friends come to me and say they have a great idea for a novel, and it's based around a concept, and it's the kind of thing that would make a better Twilight Zone type story, or even not even Twilight Zone, just a very short, just a very like a sci-fi short, only 5 or 10 minutes long, instead of a novel, because it would take a great deal of talent to stretch that concept, to flesh that concept out into a storyline. And let's face it, most people who come up, even if they come up with a concept, they don't have the talent to flesh out the concept into a storyline. So you'll hear somebody say, "Oh, I have this great idea. I'm gonna write it someday," and they never will, because they just don't have the talent to do that. And I include myself in that. I'm not really a fiction. Fiction isn't my forte. I read fiction, but I don't think I could ever, unless I had something that really fired me up. I don't think I could. I think I could do a fiction, like a novel, kind of like, say, 1984 by George Orwell, where the novel isn't really about the characters so much as it's about the concept. Like, say, 1984 is about the concept of totalitarianism, and everything in that book is in service of the fact that it's a cautionary tale about totalitarianism. Even though it is a very good novel, it's not, the fact that it's a novel isn't really the point. And I think I could do something like that, maybe, but and that's kind of what the Stardragons is like too, in the sense that it's a very simple concept. that was stretched out into a narrative history of a creature that doesn't exist in the future. But enough of my kind of jabbering. I kind of sense that I'm starting to rant a little bit. But down to what the Stardragons are. The Stardragons are creatures, spacefaring creatures that evolved from space probes. The space probes that humans put out and that the alien civilizations put out. And these space probes, over the centuries, they developed intelligence. They became sentient, and they started duplicating and replicating themselves. And as they replicated, they evolved just like a biological creature would. And eventually, these probes evolved from these kind of probe-like, rocket-like, things to more like these more kind of ethereal-looking dragon-like creatures. And this is a good time to open up the book and actually show you some of the artwork. And there you go. That's what they turned into. And it's kind of a cool concept that dragons, that these space probes would evolve into these beings and develop sentience. And one of the reasons why there are no individual characters in this book is that all of the dragons have a collective consciousness. See, there's another good picture. So there isn't just one. There's just one mind that they all share, and they transmit they're all linked by sending signals to each other. I don't think by radio, but by something more developed. And it's basically just about the different things that they do while they're alive. They create megastructures, and they try to contact star dragons in other galaxies, particularly the Andromeda galaxy. And in this book, the Andromeda galaxy has not collided with the Milky Way yet, so we know that this book takes place some point between now and 4.5 billion years from now. So glad I could narrow that down for you. But it's at some rate, it's in the distant future, probably a couple billion years from now. And I was drawn to this book. I don't remember how I got it. I got it for free, I'm sure, because I don't really pay for books. Books have a tendency to just kind of come my way, like either at library book sales or just find some on the, I don't know, any number of ways, on the curb or just in a free bin. I can't remember the last time I paid for a book. It's just so easy books are so easy to come across these days, especially since, not as many people are reading them anymore. And they get printed, far more get printed than anyone's ever going to read. So it's not hard to get a book for free. But anyway, I was drawn to this because dragons have always resonated with me. And if you look at my channel, if you follow me, you know that I make origami dragons. I'm into origami in general, but dragons are my favorite. And that's because dragons have always resonated with me as a mythical creature. One of my favorite creatures in general, definitely my favorite mythical creature. Unicorns never really impressed me. I was always into dragons. Although, interestingly enough, I'm not really into fantasy. I'm more of a sci-fi guy, which is why this book kind of caught my eye, because as a sci-fi fan, I really like it whenever a book or a story is able to take dragons and put them into more of a science fiction type of context. So especially if you're into that, if you're into like taking fantasy elements and importing them into the context of science fiction, then you'll love this kind of book. And even if you don't read the book all the way through, you might want to have it just for the artwork. If you have like a dragon related books shelf on your bookshelf, I would say it's worth it if you can get it for cheap. I wouldn't pay, I wouldn't pay like 10, $20 for it. But if you can find it on eBay for a few bucks and you're really into dragons, particularly, like I said, kind of in a sci-fi context, or even if not, even if you just like anything and anything dragon, I have to say the designs, like I say, the artwork in this is magnificent. You look at that. I mean, that's the dragons in this are just so quintessential in the way they're drawn, and with the planets and the nebulae and the stars and everything in the background, just magnificent artwork. Like I said, the storytelling is a little bit dry. It's very technical, and it's very it's not there's not much of a plot. I would liken it kind of to like the movie Avatar. You didn't go to the Avatar for the plot so much as you went to check out the amazing 3D effects and the amazing CGI. It was more about that. It was never really about the plot. And I would say that this book, it's not really about the story as much as it's about the artwork. The story is just a way to it's a vehicle for the artwork. And so in that way, I don't think that there's anything wrong with the story existing with the artwork. I think that that's great. I think it's necessary. But I don't think it'll be the thing you enjoy the most about this book. By far, the thing you'll enjoy most will be the artwork. You could read a page of the story here and there, but I have to say, whenever I'm reading and I turn to like a 2-page picture, I'm always kind of happy. I'm always happy to it's like, because, oh great, that means that I get to take a little bit of a break from the reading, because it is very dry. Although it has its moments. It has, especially like I said, I'm into science, I'm into astronomy. So it has its moments of being very interesting in the concepts it puts across. But like I said, overall, it's more of an art book. And the story is just kind of in service of the art. So would I recommend it? Yeah, if you can get it for a few bucks. Or if you're a major dragon aficionado, and particularly if you're a sci-fi fan like me, who for some reason also really likes dragons. So that's about all I have to say about it. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to Captain Unusual if you like the kind of videos that I put out. I'm pretty eclectic, so it's hard to really pin like what kind of videos I make, but you can visit my channel and check it out. It's kind of a vlog. That's what I would say. Although not a typical vlog by any means. Please comment if you've read this book or if you like dragons. Let me know what your favorite dragon book is, and I might check it out and maybe review it, because like I said, I love me some dragons. So anyway, that's it, and thanks for watching.